All right. Hey, welcome to tonight's Thursday night team call. Look at this. I have notes. If you guys know me, I'm not a note person, so we're going to bring it today. This is actually so I don't go for 4 hours instead of the hour. Keep myself on track. Welcome to Thursday night team call. I'm super excited that you guys are all on here today. I know a few people asked about this, and even some of the people I'm talking to about becoming coaches that couldn't make it on live. So it is recorded, and I'll have it up in my website. I also put it in the team pages every Friday morning or Thursday night. So if you guys don't know, or you want to go back and archive and go through these calls, I keep them in my blog at scottyhobbs.com. Just go to the coach training tab, drop down, and then there's team call recording archive. There's also like all my coach basics videos, as well as any like diamond training we've ever done. I have them saved there. So these calls all go there. If you did not know that, I want you to know so you know where you can access them, copy the links, whatever, put them where you need them. But I want to talk about two events real quick before we get started on the topic today. But first of all, I'm excited to see you guys, right? And Garrett's up there flexing. That makes me proud. Garrett's my best friend from high school, part of Team Beachbody now. So this is a cool company where you can involve your friends, even if it takes 4.5 years to get them. But the first thing I want to talk about is Super Saturday in January 9th. I want you to get out your phone if you haven't put it yet and put January 9th, Super Saturday. I also want you to do the little alert thing for 1 week ahead and 2 weeks ahead so that you can remind yourself a couple times about that event. You're going to be able to find out about your local event by going to your coach online office. Go to the online office and then go to events and training, and then Super Saturday. You'll be able to see a list there. They will continue to update that list as events get registered in your area. So they're going to be all across the U.S. It's a quarterly event, Beachbody corporate. If you've never been to one, they create a video. They have some training, some success stories, some PowerPoint slides, and exciting things that are going on. And then they have a local coach or a local leader host a meeting. So you'll see local success stories with weight loss, health, and as well as financial, plus the video. And then most locations do a workout as well. So I'm going to be traveling up to Vancouver. Gabby and I are traveling up there. I'll be speaking at the Vancouver Super Saturday and doing an hour-long training up there. But I know Idaho Falls has a Super Saturday, and each of you guys will have a Super Saturday in your location as well. So that is Super Saturday. Did you mark it in your calendar? Yes. Awesome. Okay. So that's the first event that I want to talk about. The second event that I want to talk about that will be coming up sooner than you think, guys. How many of you guys realize how fast it's gone since we left Summit, for those who went to Summit? It was July, and then now it's Christmas next week. Crazy, right? So that amount of time, put that in front of us, and we're at the next Summit already in Nashville. So I want you to all commit to coming to Nashville with us. If you're on this call, you're serious about growing your business, you want to grow your business, and that's going to be the most important event for you guys to get to. So I want you to write this down, www.coachsummit2016.com. Basically, it's a big annual event that Team Beachbody Corporate puts on. There's going to be 18,000 people there. We fill the LP Stadium. We do events, recognition, training, workshops, and it's just a place where I get to see you guys here, and we get to work one-on-one, with our new coaches in video chats and role playing and practicing. But Summit is where you get there, and you're most people when they get to it, or it's when my coaches came to the Diamond Retreat, they're this is what Beachbody is. I get it now. So that's kind of what happens as well at Summit. So we try to provide that for you guys on calls, but you got to immerse yourself in that. So I want you guys to plan on getting there to Summit with us. We had, just to kind of show you guys what's happened with our team over the past 5 years. The first year I couldn't go because my boss, we didn't have enough time off, and I couldn't get the Thursday and Friday off, so I couldn't go. The second year, I brought 50 people with me, 50 coaches. Almost all of us came from Idaho Falls. We carpooled down to Las Vegas. The next year, we went from 50 to 150 to 800 last year, and I have a goal of 1,500 of us at Summit this year. So it involves you guys coming there and having that experience. And I can tell you our team has grown to 40,000 because our coaches go to Summit. We get to Summit, we get to those events and really feel what this company is all about. So that's the next event. And heck, I might as well throw another event out. But I know I'm going to have to tell some people that, because I put all these on YouTube from outside our team right now, that it's not open to them at the moment. But we are, Mike and Jen Greenberg and I have been planning a GoPro event, which is GoPro, how to become a professional network marketer with Eric Worre. I've gone the past 2 years in a row. I went the first year by myself, and Miguel Carrasco. This past year I took 8 people. And when I was there, I committed and I bought 100 tickets. So normally the tickets are $500 a piece, and I bought a 100 pack for $30,000, which brought the tickets down to $300 a piece. So we want you guys to come with us to that event as well if you want to go to Las Vegas in December. It's all the way in December 2016. And we just announced it in the team pages. Like, I announced it earlier, but not with much aggression, I guess you could say. But we announced it just 2 days ago, and we sold 70 tickets. So we only have about 30 left right now. But what happened is Eric Worre and the GoPro team, because we invested in that from the beginning, even though the event sold out, we're what's called a partner. Our team is called a partner with the GoPro event this year. So if we want another 100 pack, I can go buy one because we invested in the beginning before they launched the regular ticket sales. So don't worry, we sell out those. Actually, I want us to sell out those 100 so I can go get another 100 for the rest, so we can get more of our team there. So we're going to make it a big Team Dynasty and the Fit Family Network party in Las Vegas. Without the partying, Fit Family, Team Dynasty, learning session. So that's the next event I want you to think about in the future. So I want you guys to be thinking a little bit long-term as far as that goes. So as you guys know, if you're in any of the team pages, in my PS team page or the Team Dynasty page, I put a little assignment in there. And in that assignment, I had you answer 5 questions. And does anybody know what those questions, does anybody have those questions with them right now? Raise your hand if you do. Okay. I can't see everybody. So Linda Bear, I'm going to unmute you if you don't mind. Could you read those to us?
Hold on, let me find it.
Okay, you're totally okay. It was really my excuse to get a drink. And if you can't find it, I can ask. Okay,
the first one is, who are you?
Write these down if you don't have them with you. Okay, who are you?
What do you love to do? What do you do for it? What those people want and need?
Yep.
How they change or transfer as a result of what you give them?
Absolutely. So the third one, I'm going to reword it. We just had the words a little bit wrong. It's, who do you do it for? So those are the 5 questions. So thank you, Linda, for reading those.
You're welcome.
So as I talk today, I want you to start thinking about these. Any ideas that come to your mind as any of us share today, I want you to write them down. And I'm looking at the chat box while we go as well. Somebody asked if they can bring their spouse. You absolutely can, Shelly. You can bring your spouse to that. And by the way, Tony Robbins will be there and Sir Richard Branson as well at the GoPro event next year. So some great entrepreneurs to learn from. So I just shared, I just had Linda up there share with us these 5 questions. I hope you wrote them down, and I'll share with you my answers to them. But before I get started, I want to talk a little bit about my story in my life. And if you're at the Fit Family Network Gatlinburg retreat, you're going to get a little bit of a repeat. So I apologize for that. But I feel like we had a huge impact at this Gatlinburg team retreat with the Fit Family Network with Michael and Jennifer Greenberg's team. And by the way, if you guys aren't following Jennifer Greenberg, you should follow her. She's a 9-star diamond coach, and this month will be her 24th month in a row as a Success Club 10 All-Star. So she'll be a Success Club 10 All-Star legend. So there's someone great to follow on the team. So what I want to talk about is a little bit of my story growing up. So if you guys don't know, I'm finally getting over this, and it's taken me 5 years of being a Beachbody coach and doing the personal development and practicing speaking in front of people. Like, all of you guys and at events, but I struggled with self-esteem my whole life. And I kind of want to make this a little interactive, even though we can't all talk back and forth, but raise your hand if you've ever struggled with self-esteem in your life, like tried to fit in, wanted to fit in. Okay. I knew almost everyone on the screen would have it up because likes attract likes. You guys are on our team because you attract the people who are like you. So I struggled with self-esteem most of my life. I have and continue to have what I call and would say the greatest parents. I think my dad's here watching the kids. He came over to watch them while my wife's at a church women's thing tonight. And, you know, my mom, I'm still a mama's boy where when I go to her house, I lay down and she rubs my head and I fall asleep. You know, that's how I was when I was little. My dad, you know, is the guy that would always throw baseball with me, take me hiking, camping, fishing, help me learn how to enjoy life in God's creations. So I have great parents, but I struggle with self-esteem because I wanted to fit in at school. I wanted to be accepted and fit in. I had that at home, yes, and that should have been enough. But you know how it is when you're a teenager, right? Or when you're in elementary school, teenager, and you're growing up. For me, extremely grateful that my parents got me braces and headgear and glasses to correct everything that was going on with me in those times. But I was the one with the crooked glasses, the big square ones that they had back then. And they always seemed to be a little bit this way when I look at the pictures. And then I also had the headgear. Did anybody have headgear or see it? It's the one with the band that goes across the back and across the top of the head. And then it had the big wire coming out and it goes in. It's like robotic. So I had that. But luckily I got some nice looking teeth now thanks to that. But it was hard for me to fit in. I felt like I couldn't fit in or be accepted. I was never a part of the cool crowd, even like growing up in through junior high or high school. I could get along with anybody, but I was never a part of any group. So what that did is it caused something in me that I'm going to talk about today. It caused me this lack of self-esteem plus the things my mom and dad taught me caused me to become very disciplined and consistent in learning something. And the reason is so we can relate and understand on this level is like I was the guy that so the music I had going before we started is our band. We released an album last year. That's my band that we play in. Like we're playing a show tomorrow night. I have practice tonight after this call. So I'm a musician, but it all started when I was trying to fit in like the 8th grade. So I was at a dance, a high school dance. We had it was like a double date with a group date, and we had our dates. We were sitting at the table for dinner, and I remember all the guys at the table. There was 3 of them, and they were talking about their band. And you know, the girls are like, "Oh man, that's so cool! You play an instrument? Oh, that's awesome! You know, we want to see you play." And I'm over here like, oh, I want to be like that. So the funny thing is, I said, you know what? I play the bass guitar. And the reality of it is I had learned to play 3 notes on a bass guitar that my friend taught me. And that was the only time I'd ever touched a bass guitar, but I said I could play it. So they're like, oh, cool. Funny thing, our bass player doesn't ever show up. So we need somebody that can play in the band and be there. So I said, okay, I'll be there. I went and borrowed my friend's amp. And he's my current bass player right now in our band, but this was back when we were 14. He lent me his amp, he lent me his guitar, and I went to practice. And they realized immediately that I did not know what I was talking about. And so the thing is that I wanted so bad to be a part of this band and to play music and to be accepted, like I saw those guys being accepted, that I came home from school every day at 2:30, and I would sit in my room until 9 o'clock. And I would play that guitar. I had all the tablature written out, and I would have the songs on my little tape player. I'd have to hit rewind and play and rewind and play and flip the tape over, if you guys remember that. But I would do it over and over and over until I would memorize the song, and then I could play the song without doing the music. And I spent hour after hour doing that to fit in. And I see how that kind of poured over into other areas of my life. Later on, I wanted to fit in with the skateboarders. The skateboarders were cool. They did cool tricks, and the girls liked it. So I decided to become a skater, and I didn't know anything about skateboarding, but I wanted to jump over garbage cans. I wanted to do something really cool. These people were doing kickflips and all these things. I'm like, I'm going to jump over garbage cans. Saw that on one of those skate videos. Like, that would be so cool to be able to do that. So obviously I can't even stand on the skateboard without falling down, but I would come home just like with that guitar, and in my front driveway, we had a wood fireplace, so we had logs. I would split logs, and I would have like a half a log, and I would work and work until I could jump over that log. Once I'd get the log, I'd stack another one on top, and I would fall, I would bust my shins up, I would hurt my wrist, I would slam my head on the ground, and I would just keep getting up and trying it and work on getting a little bit better until one day I could jump over the silver trash can in the front yard. But it took a ton of time and a ton of falling down. And so I think about like all that time, like I'm so disciplined in doing that and showing up every single day to get to do that. And so it's kind of like a habit that was formed in me. Like I would decide to do something and I would work on just that thing until I mastered it. And it makes me think back to, I know a lot of it comes from my mom and dad, because my dad would take me hiking, and it would be like the longest, highest mountain that was in Idaho, it would seem like every time. And he was like, we're going to go to the top of the mountain. And I'd get so tired, but my dad was always so good at just encouraging me and pointing out like the next big pine tree. He'd say, oh, look at that big rock up there. We're just going to go to that rock. And so I put my head down and we'd go to the rock no matter how bad it hurt or how tired it was. And when I get there, we'd rest for a minute, and then he'd say, hey, look at that ridge. I wonder what's over on the other side of that. Let's go check that out. So I would go a little bit further. So he kind of instilled that in me as well, always like never stopping. We never like pick a place to go, like the top of that mountain. I don't ever remember ever not making it. We always made it to the top. And so what I want to lead into with this is those were all those traits right there were all stemmed from me wanting to fit in. I wanted to fit in, be a part of it, be accepted by people. And there's a part of my story that I was always afraid to tell until it was probably like 3.5 years into coaching. So a year and a half ago. So I was a missionary for my church. I went when I was 19 until I was 21. And as a missionary for our church, you can't even hug a grandma. You can't touch any women other than a handshake for 2 years. And I'm a 19-year-old man. So young man. So think about that. That requires discipline. 2 years without hugging, not even your mom, grandma, any woman or girl you meet, you can only handshake for 2 years. But what I learned in that process, I'm sharing this because a lot of times people are like, how come I'm not disciplined? Like I need to become more disciplined or I don't have that trait. And they think that I started as a coach in April 11th and I was just this disciplined machine. That was the day I decided I'm going to be disciplined. But it was all these things that I created before. And so I share the part about the mission because it's exactly what we do as coaches. My job for 2 years straight was to study scripture, so like personal development, and I had to do it, and I did it with a companion, and so would be like an accountability partner. So I would do that every morning. We get up at 6, study on your own, study with a companion, eat, plan your day, like schedule out appointments for your day, and then you leave at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you're out in the streets until 9:30 at night. And if you don't have an appointment, you're knocking on doors. And so you're knocking on doors. And this was in Venezuela, a country that I was learning the language as I was there. So it was extremely hard, but I did it because I had a purpose in mind. I had an end purpose of that, my role as a missionary of serving and helping people in that aspect. So I did that for 2 years. So I created that habit of being disciplined with something like what we do as coaches. Meet people, build connection with them, set appointments, invite them. So I did that for 2 years before I became a coach. But I was afraid of sharing that because after I came back, I fell into the wrong crowd playing music, and I started drinking a lot. And one day when I was drunk living in the house that I lived in, and I guess I could go into like the Tony Robbins type stories where they talk about when I lived in my car. I didn't live in my car, but I lived in a drug house with about 18 other guys, and I paid $20 a month to sleep in a sleeping bag on a floor with 3 other guys in a room. So I got to that point in my life where I was living there, drinking every day, and one day I walked into a room and people were doing cocaine, and that was when it started for me. So I got to that point where I became what you call, I guess, a drug addict during that part of my life. And I went through that. And luckily, I had a friend who's now one of my diamond coaches, who was a complete stranger at the time, who reached out to me and was a friend to me and said, "You're better than that. I love you. I don't even know who you are, but I want to help you." And he helped me move out of that place. And the rest is history. Here I am now. But what I want to share about that is I was afraid to share about my drug past or being a missionary. So I'm like, what if people from the church or people judge me for doing drugs and all this stuff, and then church? But I realized that people's opinions of me do not define my reality. So I am proud of my story nowadays. But why I share about the drug addict part is because it's all a part of the same thing I've been talking about, because I had a lack of self-esteem. And when I did drugs, I felt like I fit in with everybody. I was more confident. I felt like I fit in. And so all of these self-esteem struggles that I've had created some habits in me of being disciplined, of going all in with something. So when I went all in with drugs and alcohol, I was all in. So this is what is kind of like the path of my life. You guys always hear my story about the day I signed up on April 11th, 2011. But I wanted to let you guys know a little bit about me in that aspect. And so what I want to lead into with coaching. So we're talking about Team Beachbody coaching here. And first of all, I'm going to try to simplify coaching a little bit for you guys today and help you guys out so you can be more solid in what you do. So I always wondered, because I'm this disciplined person, right? I'm disciplined in everything that I do. When I make a decision, it's like, I didn't understand. Like I would sit here in my office working and I didn't understand why people couldn't commit to something or be disciplined to something. I was like, my definition of a commitment is you decide you're going to do something, and then no matter what, you do it. You figure out a way to do it. And if it doesn't work, you find another way, or you ask somebody and you figure it out. And then I was like, why are some people's level of commitment just like, I'm going to try for a little bit, and if it doesn't work out or it gets hard, I'm going to start complaining about it and I'm going to quit. And it just didn't make sense to me. That was like my biggest inner turmoil as a coach, because my role, which we'll talk about a little bit today, is to help other people like me create more time freedom in their life, become healthier. But in order for them to do that, they've got to become committed to something in life and disciplined to something in life. So I couldn't understand that. And I was always trying to fix people's discipline and fix people's commitment levels. And what I found out over the past 5 years, what I've learned and discovered is that it's not a lack of commitment or discipline. It's a lack of purpose. So it's a lack of purpose. I want you to write that. Write it down. When I'm not committed or disciplined, write yourself a little note. When I'm not committed or disciplined to my goal, I have a lack of purpose. I'm not clear what my purpose is. So that leads me into what I want to talk about today. So that's why I had you guys answer those questions. And if you didn't answer it, hey, let's do a little test. I don't want you to feel bad. How many of you guys saw the assignment and did not do it? Raise your hand. Okay, I see some coming up. Okay, and there's 3 screens. I can't scroll over to all of them, but okay. So this is your topic right here. So why was I not committed to this topic? Why was I not disciplined? But I do have to give you guys recognition and shout out because you're on this call. So that takes some commitment level and some discipline. So that's what I want to talk about today is how to become more disciplined, but by finding out and discovering what your purpose is. So if you did write out your answer to those questions, which I hope most of you did. If you didn't, I want you after this call to work on it. And it's going to take you, like I'll read mine today to you guys, but it took me like 5 drafts. And even I read it the other day, it's on my blog, and I had to change some things still. I had to reword a little bit. So this is something you can constantly grow and change as you grow and change as a person. But raise your hand if you filled it out. And do you have it in front of you? Patrina, is that how I say your name? Patrina, would you be willing to read yours to us?
Sure.
Your answers? Awesome.
Just give me 2 seconds here. I just got to pull it up real quick.
Perfect.
It's on my phone. So the first question was, who am I? What I said was, I'm a mother. I'm a wife, a friend, a cheerleader, a helper in my community. What do you love to do? I love to help people at work. I work in youth court in my community, in my business, with my family. I do it for myself, my children, my family, my community, and what people need and want. People need to know someone cares and that they have support no matter how bad they screw up. We all deserve love and support. So with the youth I work with in court, sometimes just knowing somebody cares and is there to listen will make a huge difference and helps them move forward in a good way. And for my business, one of the things I've gotten out of it is just being able to believe in myself so I can move forward. And I hope that's what I'm helping give other people.
Awesome. I want you to say, it's what I'm giving other people. I want you to get confident in what you have to give people. So great. Thank you for sharing that, Patrina. I want to hear, we're going to move through these because I want to hear a couple of them. Does anybody else want to share what they have? Could I get a raise the hand if you have yours written down? This is your chance to get uncomfortable. Okay, Samantha, could you read yours? You're unmuted now. Can you hear us, Samantha?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, you'll need to speak up just a little bit, but we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I am a mom of twins and a special needs child who, despite high stressors in daily life, finds balance by learning to take care of herself and then encourages others to do the same. And then, what do you love to do? I love to dance and sing and help others find a better life, whatever that may be for them. Who do you do it for? Myself, my family, and friends, both old and new. I love making new friends. What do those people want and need? I took that as in from me. So they want a better life, a better way to live life, and need me to show up and give them a good example to follow, and even mentor to create the life they've always wanted. And how do they change and transform? First and foremost, their perspective on life will change as they learn to stay more positive and enable the law of attraction in their own lives. And then they'll change their bodies and continue with their mindset and ultimately make the decision as to what and how they choose to live their own lives. That's not up to me to decide. I simply help them with a continuous line of mentorship.
Awesome. Thank you, Samantha. That's great. So I can say Samantha's been showing up to video chats in our Coach Basics group and on this call tonight. So like I see this is it's like I really loved how yours was worded out. You're confident and know what your role is as a coach. And I can tell you that's exactly why she's in our Coach Basics group, coming to the calls and on this call right now, because she's clear on that. So I want to hear one more before we move on. And I can't see all the screens. Sorry, let me scroll through the screens and make sure no one's holding their hand up. Okay, hold your hand up if it's up so I can scroll through. Come on, be brave. Okay, we had two girls. I'm going to just choose a guy. But I got to make sure. Okay, I need help. The guys that filled it out, raise your hand. And let's be honest. Did any of the guys fill it out? Okay, I see some guys smiling at me. So none of the guys did right now. Do any of the girls want to share? Okay, we'll move on then. I will do mine. So, but what I want you guys to do is I want you to, from Samantha's example and from Patrina's example, I want you to write out yours. It's going to be your assignment leaving this call today. But I'm going to read mine to you just real quick. So the questions are, who are you? What do you love to do? Who do you love to do it for? What those people want and need, how they change or transform as a result of them. So what I've seen is when you can get solid and confident in your role as a coach, your purpose as a coach, I'm calling this your purpose statement. When you fill this out and write it out, this is your purpose statement. When you can do that and be solid in that, you're going to be more confident in what you have to give people. And what I've found is that it somewhat forces me to feel obligated to connect with every single person that I meet. Like that everybody could benefit from what I have to offer them. So let me read mine if I can find it here. Okay, I'll read mine. And what I want you guys to know about this is this, I have my rituals I've created in the morning with my personal development, my affirmations, reading my goals. This is a part of my affirmations. I read this out loud to myself so I can remember who I am and what my role as a coach is. And I have to tell you a quick story today. I was super busy. I felt like I was super busy. I did I made a video this morning. It was my hammer and chisel rest day. So I didn't have a workout, but I I had a call with 3 of my coaches that wanted to have a 15-minute call. And I had an hour-long video chat with the Salt Lake City Market Council for Beachbody and the East Idaho Market Council. And we're finalizing the details we're having Sagi from Body Beast and Hammer and Chisel come to Idaho Falls on February 13th, a Saturday, to do a personal development seminar, event, photo opportunity, and a workout. And so we're planning all the details, cost, location, all of that stuff today. And so I got done with that, and it was 11 o'clock. And I had 2 calls scheduled that were each 15 minutes. So it puts me at 11:30. Then I need to eat lunch. It's almost going to be noon. And Gabby came in when I got done at 11. She's like, hey, and I didn't know about this. She's like, hey, the girls, Kina and Mila, have a class. They have like an assembly today. They're going to sing Christmas songs. Do you want to go? And I immediately, I felt rushed and busy. And I said, I can't go today. I'm too busy. I haven't even, and that was like my attitude. I haven't even started my list today. I haven't even done my groups, and I haven't even done my follow-ups. So I can't go today. And I was like, and that was it. I was like, she's like, okay. She didn't get mad at me or anything. I came in here, I started working, and on my to-do list was to finalize my preparations for this call tonight. And so I read my purpose statement again. And there was a line in it that I'm going to read to you guys. Well, I won't read it. I'll just say it because I remember. It says, I help parents who want to spend more time with their kids and spend less time at work. And as I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? My purpose is to help other parents do that. And yet I have the complete opportunity that I've created, and I'm not taking advantage of that opportunity. So I dropped my stuff. Actually, I worked super hard for an hour, more focused than I've ever been probably in the last 2 years. I almost got everything done in an hour, minus a couple things. And I went to the thing, got there just on time. And the look on my girls' faces when they saw me sitting in the back was priceless. But here's the thing about it. I made a video on it today, but it was emotional. Like every song they sang, I was like breaking up, getting teary-eyed and breaking up. And it wasn't just from seeing my daughters wave at me and smile and see their friends looking back and hey, my daddy's here, that felt good. But I feel as a coach that I spend so much time, not even just as a coach, I'm a coach. Here's some of my roles. I'm a coach. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I teach the 13 and 14-year-old youth of the church. I'm a guitarist in a band. And so I have all these roles, and I feel like I'm always giving. As a coach, I'm giving, playing music, learning, and then I play music. I put energy out for people so they have a good time. At church, you think you go there to get filled up, and I do, but I'm also studying and giving to the kids to teach them. So all the time I feel like I'm giving. It can be exhausting. Raise your hand if you feel exhausted sometimes as a coach giving to everybody, right? So I had this moment today where I realized a little bit more on how important it is that we put down our phones and put down our work and forget about it for a couple hours and we get in the moment with where we're at. And I did that. I kept my phone in my pocket during that whole time. And every song I broke up, I got emotional. And what it was, I truly felt not just my daughters, but however many kids were in there, they were singing at the top of their lungs, these Christmas songs of hope and cheer and joy. And I feel like those kids gave to me today. And it's been a long time since I really, really felt like that at that level where it was just emotional for me. And it was also a moment where I realized that every parent, and I've known this, but every parent deserves to be in those types of situations, to have those type of opportunities with their children and being involved with what their children do. So with that being said, it was funny that happened today. So we all need reminders at all times on what our purpose is and that we're clear on that so we don't get distracted with things that don't matter. So here's mine. My voice is so dry. Let me do this right now so we can do this flow all the way through. And I just splashed all over my face. Okay. So I'm Scotty Hobbs. I'm a husband and father to 5 beautiful children. I love the outdoors and I play the guitar. I'm an entrepreneur who invests in myself and in other people. I love personal growth, health, and fitness. I love serving people. I love helping people overcome their fears and obstacles. I love teaching them to use their personal life story and experiences to help others believe in themselves. and find more happiness, joy, and purpose in life. I help fathers and mothers who know deep inside that there's a better way to live life and provide for their families. I do it so that children can grow up knowing their parents, and so that these parents can be great role models to their children. These parents need more positive relationships and role models in their lives. They need people who support them in going after their dreams, love them for being vulnerable about who they are, and encourage them to face their fears. They need a way to get out of debt, build a retirement, and have more time, freedom to spend their lives with loved ones. They want more time with their children and less time at work. When they embrace this way of life, they find a sense of purpose. They find happiness and joy in everyday encounters in life. They become victors rather than victims. They become more healthy, fit, and vibrant, and bring a spirit of hope and positivity to this world. They find a positive channel to funnel their energy and share their story and message, which makes a real difference in the world. They are then able to create a life by design, which means they become the CEO of their own lives. When this happens, they're able to reach and impact more people on a bigger level and spend time with those that matter most. So there's my purpose statement. And like I said, it took me a few times adding things, taking things out. And so I get asked all the time, why are you so disciplined? Why are you so committed? I even get the question like, your business has grown to such a large level. Do you even have to work anymore? I get people ask me that. Like, if you walked away, would you still be okay? And the answer is yes, but I wouldn't be okay, because money doesn't bring me happiness or joy. Purpose brings me happiness or joy. And that's going to be the case for each and every one of you guys. And so the reason I still show up today and run Coach Basics groups, and does anybody notice I post something in the team page every single day, whether anybody responds or not? How come I show up every single day? It's because I'm solid on my purpose. I'm solid on my purpose. And so I know that I have to show up, and it's for me, because that's my purpose as a Team Beachbody coach. Not only as a Team Beachbody coach, but as a human. That is my purpose that I've discovered through Team Beachbody, which is cool to see how Team Beachbody can help you discover something much bigger than just what many of us are doing in the beginning. We're not just selling powder and discs and meal plans to people, and we're not just running challenge groups, and we're not just doing all this training, right? We are connecting with people and sharing our story with people and connecting with people and inviting them to be on this journey with us. And I'll be honest, like in the end of it, I put that when they embrace this way of life, because I want people to know from the beginning that they have to embrace this way of life. Like I can't do that for them as much as I wish I could, but I can't do it for 40,000 plus people. And as we grow to 150,000, 200,000, 250,000, as this team grows, it's going to be empowering each of you guys to stand in your power, to stand up for your purpose and embracing that. And when you embrace that, you're going to have the courage to go out and face all the fears that are holding you back in different aspects of your life. So that's how it relates kind of to Team Beachbody. So when I see that, you guys listen to that, is there anybody in the world that couldn't benefit from one of those things in there that I mentioned that I can help somebody with? There's not. Like I cannot have a valid argument or fight that somebody can't benefit in some way with what we have to offer with Team Beachbody. So what that does for me and my purpose is I'm not waking up to manage 40,000 people. I'm waking up because I still need to find these people that feel like that at work and offer them some tools, show them some tools and some examples of how they can get out of where they're at, right? So I could meet somebody tonight when I stop at the gas station on the way to band practice that needs what I've gone through, that needs more time with their kids, that maybe they're headed to their second shift, and their kids are at home in bed and they need me to talk to them and say, hey, I know how it feels. Like I was the guy taking extra shifts 5 years ago. This is how I felt. Do you feel like that? Yes. Let me show you what you could do to change that. So because I'm solid in my purpose and my role, that's why I continue to do what I do and to continue to build this business and this company that we have. So do you guys understand? Is that clear on how that will help you become more disciplined in your in your daily activity, let's say that, your daily list of 10 or your 3 vital behaviors. What else? I want to ask somebody else, aside from helping you become more disciplined by being clear on your focus and on your purpose, what else could this help? If you're solid in that, like you read that over and over and you believe that with every fiber in your soul, right? What else is that going to do for you as a coach? I'm gonna call someone out. I'm gonna ask Eric Myers. If you're solid in that, not only are you going to become disciplined in that because you know what your purpose is, you wake up with a passion on fire to live that purpose, but what else is it going to do for you as a coach or a person that's going to help these people if you're solid?
I think people would definitely feel that energy, and they would feel the confidence and just the way you carry yourself, and just kind of naturally attract them to whatever you're doing. You know, we are emotional creatures more so than logical creatures. So it's just like, oh, if Scotty's all pumped up each day, what is he doing? You know, and just spark that curiosity.
Awesome. So it'll spark curiosity. People see that confidence that you're carrying. And that's the word I was looking for. When I was at the Fit Family Network retreat, that's what somebody said. I'm way more confident telling people I can help them with that than being some fitness guru, right? Or some nutrition guru, which most of us are not. Like we love the products, but they felt they'd be more confident in inviting to people to what they have. So in this, this is going to be related to your role as a coach, but many of you guys have jobs right now. And I fully believe it's important that you give 100% to your job that you're currently at. And discovering even your role or your purpose at your current job is going to help you be a better employee at that job. And when you're better there, you're going to be better all around as well. So just to give you an example, I think about, because I was at the elementary school, I saw the janitor there. He's this guy with his beard, and he had the biggest smile on his face. And so this is the difference that having a purpose could mean for, let's say, this janitor of the school, or the custodian, I believe is what they call him. So the custodian, you can have a custodian that goes to work and they're grumpy because they got to clean up, sometimes throw up. Kids are getting their ketchup and everything all over the place. They're messy in the bathrooms. They're messy at lunch. And he could just be every day like disgusted and stressed out. And this is the worst job in the world, right? Because he's going to continue to show up and be committed because he gets a paycheck, right? But if you, like, I don't know this custodian. I wish I would have talked to him, and now I will sometime. But why was he so happy? I mean, he even was like, before I even saw this happen, he would dress up in a Christmas tree outfit with presents as shoes and was dancing in front of the kids. And he was dancing, like he'd pick up and do a little twirl around with a couple kids as he was dancing to the front while they were singing. And I was like, that guy has purpose at his job. I could see it. That custodian has purpose. So if he were to write out a purpose statement, which I'm sure he hasn't written out a purpose statement, but he knows what his purpose is as a custodian for these elementary kids. And I'm sure it's something like this. My role is to keep the cleanest environment possible for the health and safety of these beautiful children that are here. And my role is to keep them in a sanitary, clean place where they can grow and flourish as students, right? You see the difference of, I got to clean up this crap versus my role is to keep a clean environment so these students can have a healthy place to learn and grow into future leaders of this country, right? So there's a complete difference. So that's what having a role as a coach will do for you. Because if your role is, I sell challenge packs and I run challenge groups and I suck at them most of the time, but I'm going to keep doing it because that's what I'm supposed to do and hit Success Club. And then one day I'm going to be a 5-star diamond elite coach and I'm not going to have to work again, right? If that's what your role is, or that's how you describe your role as a coach to yourself, you're not going to ever get there. You've got to be clear on your purpose, on how you're truly going to help people. And so that's why I want you guys to really fill it out. And once you get it filled out and written out, I want you guys to make a video about it, right? I want you to put it in the team page. I want you to share with other fellow teammates what you're doing, what your role as a coach is, so that we can hold you accountable to that level of who you decide that you are as a coach. So what I wanted to think about with that is, or kind of bring up a point. So this is going to help you guys. What I've been working a lot with my Coach Basics groups, I have them go through the Coach Basics videos on their own, the 60 videos, but I spend the entire time helping them tell their story, helping them learn how to make emotional connections with people and how to invite people to like a coach sneak peek or to listen to a webinar or to join their team, be a part of what they're doing. So this is what I'm teaching them. And why it's going to be important to find out your role as a coach is because how much more powerful is it going to be? Let's say, I'm looking at my friend Garrett up here. Like if someone says, Garrett, what's that Beachbody coach thing you do? Like you have let's say you're busy, like you have a few seconds to capture their interest or make a connection with them. And this will just be a small sample. Most of us, I can say I'm an online health and fitness coach, or I run challenge groups and help people with workouts like P90X and Insanity, right? Is that kind of fair to say that that's what most of us say when someone says, what does a Beachbody coach do? Is that kind of fair to say that's what we do? Is that what we say we do? So how much more powerful would it be? Like I'll just use mine with part of my purpose statement. Instead of saying I run health and fitness challenge groups, or, that's going to be part of it, but how much more captivating it would be where they interest you if you just confidently say, if they're like, what is that Beachbody coach thing you do? Or how's that work? Be like, if I'm just like, I'm an entrepreneur who invests in myself and other people. And by the way, I help people get in the best shape of their life with the most amazing programs like P90X and Insanity, right? So have your little thing that you say, like mine is that I'm an entrepreneur who invests in myself and in other people. And I help people get healthy and more fit. And then I would go into asking them questions, which would immediately be like, what made you want to ask me about what I do as a Beachbody coach? So that's going to help you as well be confident in giving an answer so you don't miss those opportunities when someone comes to you and asks what you're doing as a coach. Because there's so many opportunities that we miss. And I know I've missed a ton in my life as well. So what I want to talk about, I had this feeling, and I finished my topic 15 minutes early, but you guys know I'm not letting you guys out right now. I mean, you can go if you want, but the one thing that I think is missing often that I want to make sure that we get ingrained into this team, this culture, and this family that we have is the lost art that's missing a lot of times. And it's the art of telling your story. Okay. There's so many things to learn, but what I want you guys to know is that by the time, if you're just studying how to use Facebook, or studying how to run the perfect challenge group, by the time you get perfect at it, we're going to be doing it on apps. By the time you get Facebook down, we're going to be using something we don't even know about right now. So the important thing is that you take action right now. And here's the simple things that I want you guys to stay focused on. Knowing your purpose and telling your story and creating a culture of people who tell their story. So here it is. So telling your story, write that down. Because I'll simplify it. There's like pages, Instagram, Periscope, email marketing, YouTube, blogs, LinkedIn, face-to-face contacts. There's all these things. Face-to-face will always be around, but there's all these things, right? And it can be overwhelming. Like, what do I do? And you try to, you don't actually make connections with people, which is what we're supposed to do. So to simplify that, here's what you're going to do. Build list of people. Build an ongoing list of people to talk to. So build list and tell your story to every person on this list. So build list, tell story to everybody on the list. And the lost art to what we do as coaches, which is we're network marketers. So embrace the fact that you are going to become a professional network marketer in that career field. And the lost art is the power of telling your story. And I can tell you that my whole business, this whole team of 40,000 coaches has been built on me telling my story. And the story that I tell is the same story that I told my first week when I invited some friends over to my house to tell them what this new Beachbody coach thing I was doing. Now, it was obviously a lot sloppier and all over the place, but it's the same exact story. So I want to give you guys an example of that. And it's the same story I'm using today. When I talk to somebody tomorrow and I get on the phone with them, it's going to be the exact same story. Because I can't tell the story of everything that's happened, hitting the Millionaire Club, being a part of the coach advisory board, advising a coach network of 400,000 coaches for the corporate team. Like none of that stuff is relatable to people. So I can't connect with anybody. And my goal is to connect with somebody, find out what their struggle or pain in life is, and invite them to change it, give them a solution to change it. So my story still is the exact same. And so I'm getting really good at it because I've been telling the same story at least 2 times a day for the past 5 years. Okay. So I'm not afraid to share it with you guys today. I'll share a little bit of it with you. But what I want to do, I want to share it with somebody on this call in front of everybody. Makes it always a little bit more fun. And I can practice, because who doesn't need more practice? Raise your hand if you got it down. Nobody. Okay. We're going to do this. 15 minutes. I'm going to show you guys what's missing oftentimes. I was talking with one of my coaches today, and he's doing his invites, but nobody is joining him. Nobody is signing as a coach. Nobody is buying a challenge pack. Has anybody experienced that before? Raise your hand. Where you're like, nobody is doing anything, and it's okay to know that a lot of times it takes a year before somebody's ready, or 3 months sometimes, but you will find people that are ready right now. So I do want you to know that, but realize it's planting, cultivating, and harvesting later. But what we talked about today was the aha moment for him. I also had the opportunity to sit down for about an hour each with about 7 coaches from the Fit Family Network, and every single one of them was in tears at some point and completely moved. And the thought I want you to think about, to write down, is your business won't move if you're not moved. If you're not moved, your business will not move. If you want other people to move, you've got to move them, right? You've got to get them moved. And what I mean by moved is emotionally moved. And the other thing that I got to point out is that you can't move somebody else if you haven't been moved yourself, right? So that was like a big anomaly of stuff. Did that make sense? You've got to move. You got to get yourself moved first, and then you got to help other people get moved. So you got to do that by building emotional connection. If you're not very good at this, I want you to study on YouTube or whatever platform you can find it on, building rapport. And Tony Robbins, I believe, is the best at that. And our job and our role, I know you guys know our role is to help people. In mine, it says help people do this, help people understand this, right? And so I'm going to conflict you guys a little bit in your mind. Our job is to create pain in people, okay? I want that to sink in. Our job is to create pain. Our job is to create pain. Okay, I said it 3 times because I want you guys to understand this. So how do you do that? You ask questions, and you ask hard questions. And I'm going to talk about it before I walk you through it so you can kind of see it happen. So how often in life have you ever had somebody, let's say you're the guy, I'll use me for example. I worked from 5 in the morning till 5 at night in a factory after going to dental lab school and being the best in my class. 12 hours a day at the factory, working every Saturday shift that's available. And then after that, I am taking extra shifts. If there's a shift that needs to run through the night, I'm the guy that's raising my hand. And then on top of that, my wife Gabby's working nights. Okay? So this is our lifestyle. How often do you think somebody came to me and said, Scotty, you work an awfully lot. You must not see your kids that much. No, I don't. Is that what you planned for your life? Did you plan on working 12 hours a day and having your kids at a babysitter during the day? How often has somebody asked you questions like that about that stuff? It's crazy, but it never happens. And I think the society, we're all trying to say everything's okay. We got our home. Everybody's happy. We got jobs, and smile through the pain, right? Everybody smiles through every struggle that they have. And that's society. So our job is to disturb that. Our job is to create the pain, to bring the pain to light. But first you got to build rapport, which is a relationship of trust with the person, which happens by you connecting with them and being relatable with them. So Garrett, I'm going to run through with you just because I probably know you best out of anybody here. So I know your personal life more than most.
Yeah.
So can you hear me, Garrett?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do an example of how this coach invite goes in sharing your story. Because remember, build a list of people, share your story, invite. That's if you're confused on what to do with your business, those are the things on top of your 3 vital behaviors. So with Garrett, this is what I would do. I'd get him on the phone. Let's say I'm just on the phone with him. I'm talking with him, and we already chit-chatted back and forth about some hunting stuff. I've already established that he's working at this auto mechanic shop, and I'm just going to take it from there. He told me, this is where I work, and I'd be like, oh man, that's awesome. For some reason, I didn't realize you were still doing auto mechanic stuff. So if I need my car fixed, are you the man to go to?
I am the man to go to.
Boom. Well, dude, how long have you been doing? How long have you been an auto mechanic now?
Almost 15 years.
What did you say? 15?
Yeah.
15 years, dude. That's crazy. Dude, it's crazy to think that we've been out of high school now for 15 years, huh?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Seems like it went like this fast. And if I saw on your Facebook, you have one daughter, right?
Yes, 10 years old.
Awesome. What's her name?
Madison.
Cute. I've seen a few pictures of her, but hope we can get together. Maybe sometime go on a double date or something. Take the kids out, and maybe Keena and Madison can hang out sometime.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. Good. Awesome, dude. Well, so you're like, I remember you were always into fixing cars, like, and you're like one of my best friends. If I need my car fixed, I know where to go now. And if any of my friends need their car fixed, I'm going to send them to you. So do you guys take referrals there? I can send people over there?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Awesome, man. So you've been working there for 15 years. I remember you had classes for auto mechanic. You always wanted to be an auto mechanic, didn't you?
Yeah, ever since high school. And then I went into college after high school and didn't graduate, but I learned more in the year that I was on job training than I would have at the last year of school. So
funny how that happens, huh? Yeah. It's crazy. I've been doing this personal development stuff. I learned more in the last 5 years than I don't think I learned in my 3 scattered years of school what I learned in like my first month of doing, like, reading these books I read as a Beachbody coach. What I wanted to ask you is, sorry, I got lost. So where I would go from there is he tells me that he learned more there, and I told him that I learned more from there. Normally I don't jump into Beachbody coach. It kind of threw me off. So what I would have done from there is I would say, how many hours do you work a day, man?
Just depends on the car load, man. I can go from, normally we start at 7:30 to 6, but I've been there. Sometimes I'll be there at 4:30 in the morning, and I'll be there till whenever the job's done. Sometimes the last time I was there, I was left at 10 o'clock at night. So
holy crap, dude. So you're working anywhere from 10 to 15 hours some days?
Yeah.
Man, dude, I know what that's like. You remember I used to work over at Idaho Steel? Well, I'm going to talk as if I'm still at Idaho Steel, because most of you guys haven't left your jobs yet. So, dude, I'm working over at Idaho Steel. It's like, it's the same thing, man. Like, I started out sweeping floors there, but now I'm running the service department, and they have me doing the shipping department. I write the service manuals, but like, I'm there every day from 5 to 5. So dude, I know what that's like. And if there's like a shift that has to run through the night, like, I'm always volunteering for that shift. So what about Jamie? Does she work too?
Yep. Full-time customer service.
Where does she work customer service at?
She's at Cable One.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. We use Cable One for our internet. They do pretty good. They're pretty good service. So dude, I got to ask you a question, man. Gabby works at night too, man. She's working over at the Hilton Garden Inn, and she goes, it's kind of like a scattered schedule, which is kind of stressful because we never know when we need a babysitter, but she works from 3 to 11. And then some Saturdays she gets, she works the morning shift. It's like 7 to 3. And so like when I have to work the Saturday shift and she has to work it, we have to send my kids over to my parents, or remember Tony Perez, like they watch them sometimes in the morning. But dude, isn't it crazy? It's been 15 years. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt like this, man, but I don't have to, like, it's not required at my job that we work overtime, but I take every overtime shift that comes because like, it's hard, man. It's hard to pay the mortgage. Like I didn't expect to have Gabby working, but you know, pay the bills and pay off my school loan. You know, she's got to be at work as well. And I thought like when she started working, I thought, you know, maybe 2 years and she wouldn't have to work anymore. I'd raise up through my company, you know, through Idaho Steel, and I'd be able to not have her working more. But it's like, it seems like it never ends. Like it's like a never ending circle. And I don't know if you ever felt like this, but, and I don't know how to say this, man, but like, you know, I get home from work at 5 and I watch the kids and Gabby's at work and I go to bed at night. And I don't know if you ever felt like this, but when I'm laying in bed at night, sometimes it feels like the universe is like spinning around me and I'm not drunk. It just feels like the world's spinning. It's like a feeling of like everything's out of my control, I guess is how I'd explain it. And it's like heavy. Like it feels like something's pushing down on me. And it's the craziest thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it like makes me question everything sometimes. Like, how do we even get to this place called Earth? Like, what happens? Like everything. I question everything, and it's the strangest thing. And it's because I'm always worried about, am I going to have enough overtime hours or enough extra shifts to be able to pay the mortgage on Monday when it's due? When my check comes Friday, I'm like, $80 more on that next check, please, so I don't bounce my check. And it makes me feel like that at night, and I can't sleep. Have you ever felt like that?
All the time.
Dude, it sucks, doesn't it, man?
Yeah.
Is this what you expected?
No, not at all.
I know, man. It's not what I expected at all, but I have to tell you something, man. It was, you know, I've been doing this Beachbody thing, and it was the craziest thing. I had that feeling, you know, almost every night. And then I remember one morning, it was 18 days after my daughter's was born, Ellie was born. And I remember sitting at my job. It was April 11th, 2011. I remember it like it was yesterday. And, you know, hardly slept the night before because I'm scared. But I get to work and I had my mail with me in my lunchbox, and I started opening it, and it was the doctor bills from her birth. And the Blue Cross statements, it was it was anesthesiologist, the doctor bill, the hospital bill. There's even a bill for the ear doctor. I don't even remember what they're called, but all these bills. And it was like, I was I was afraid. Like it was like worse than it had ever been, because now I have all these other bills. And I didn't have the money in my account to pay for those. And so the thing that happened that day is my fear, because, you know, I've been doing these Beachbody workouts that I showed you at the P90X, and I had great results with it, but I was afraid to become a coach because I was afraid of failing. But this day, the fear of not knowing how to pay these bills and take care of my family and raise 3 daughters became greater than my fear of failing as a coach. And I can tell you, I've only been doing this for 3 months now, but it's the best feeling in the world, helping people that felt like I feel, helping them get healthier and more fit. But one of the coolest things that's happened for me inside is I haven't had that feeling of spinning at night anymore. And it's not that I'm not financially free, but I know that I have my answer that I've been praying for, that thing where I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And I've found it. And I'm going to help as many people as it takes so that I can bring my wife home from work. And, you know, just like you have Jamie working, dude, did you expect that after 15 years that you would be just like me, with working all these hours and having your wife at work and your daughter at a babysitter? No,
it should be a lot different by now.
Dude, I know, man. And you're a good man. If you're the guy that if somebody needs their car fixed, like I said, I'm going to send them your way. You're that guy. You're a good dad. You're a good husband. You're a good friend. You're trustworthy. You love the workouts. I mean, you went from a size 36 to a 28 in 2 rounds of 21-day Fix Extreme. Like, these work for you. You feel awesome. You know, don't you feel awesome?
I do. That's great.
Other people deserve to feel like that, right?
They all should. That's
right, man. Well, my question to you is, if you don't make some changes in your life, you know, other than what you're currently doing with your wife at work and you at the auto mechanic shop, in 10 years, do you see anything being different?
No.
I believe, Garrett, that this is your answer, man. just like it was mine. And I want you to be a part of this with me. I want you to learn, grow with us, stay healthy, fit, and help people. Would you like to be a part of this team with us?
For sure.
Okay. So there's basically an invite. Later I might have to go over the details, which would be taking them to a coach sneak peek, inviting them to a coach webinar, inviting him and Jamie over to talk to Gabby and I, or getting on a video chat and explaining everything, all the details. But that's the part where he's going to go home and he's never going to forget it, right? And the thing that I understand, that I want you to understand, is he might not start right then. The pain, even though we stirred up some pain about things aren't going to change if he doesn't change something, and it's going to continue to be the way it is, it might not change right now, but in the future, when that pain gets strong enough, or if I stir it up enough again with one of my posts or reaching out to him or following up with him, the time's going to come. And I could say that because that was true with me as well. Lindsay, I talked to her. She asked me those same things. What do you do for work? How much do you work? And I was telling her how many hours I was at work. And your wife, what does she do? She's at work. And she asked me those things. Was that your plan? Did she want to be? I think she worded like, did she want to be, did she want to have a career of her own? No. My answer, no. She wanted to be stay-at-home mother, but I don't make enough money. So she told me, I know how you feel. I remember when I had my daughter, London, and I get the chills thinking about it because I remember the phone conversation. I remember when I had my daughter, London, we weren't married, and, I didn't expect that, first of all. And I connected with that, even though she didn't ask me. We got pregnant with my daughter before we were married. So I immediately connected there on some sort of emotional level. So she says that, and then she says, and London was born prematurely, and we incurred $200,000 of debt, and I was a bartender. And the cool thing is just like you, I found P90X randomly because I found it not through a coach. She found it not through a coach. And I found P90X, and I had a transformation. And, she told me her story. I called Beachbody. I was like, there's got to be, everybody's asking me about my results. There's got to be some kind of referral program where they give you a little commission or something for referring a program. So she called Beachbody, and they signed her up as a coach. She was a coach lead to somebody. So just so you guys know. So she got signed up as a coach, but she said, but the coolest thing is, now I'm no longer a bartender. I'm doing this from home, and I'm paying off that debt, that $200,000 debt. And I had no way to do that before, and I'm doing that now. So she didn't even ask me about my mortgage at that point, but when she talked about her debt, I thought about my debt that I was having a hard time paying, which was school loan and mortgage. So the thing is, guys, she said, at the end, she said, you have amazing results. You're going to be an amazing coach. Let's get started. And I told her, no, this is not for me. Like, it sounds awesome and you're doing great. That's cool, but it's not for me. And I didn't tell her why, but it was what I talked about in my story. I was afraid. I was afraid of taking more responsibility and failing at something in my life again. I'm a college dropout. So, I was afraid that I would fail at something, and I'm already busy enough. So, but the thing is that when 8 months later came, when I had that pain that was so strong, who did I think about? Oh, you guys, what did I think about? I thought about paying off a $200,000 debt from her daughter being born prematurely. I thought about her daughter. I thought about my daughters. And that was my answer. I knew exactly what I needed to do, just what she invited me to do, but it was 8 months later. So what I want you guys to know is that's how you invite somebody, but with your own story. You got to practice telling your story, but you got to make those emotional connections. And my favorite way to do it, because you don't want to just ask somebody something, you don't want to just cause a pain in them, but you act like you're perfect and you have no pains or struggles. You got to share yours first. Notice I said, I don't know if you ever felt like this. Like I'd lay in bed afraid and because I couldn't pay my bill. Like I told them I couldn't pay my bills. What man likes to say you don't make enough money to pay your bills? Nobody. Right? So you got to be vulnerable and share your part so they can relate with you on that level. And then you invite them and share with them how you're getting out of it. And that's what I did in the beginning when I invited coaches to my team. I didn't have any financial success. I shared how Lindsay shared that with me. I shared how I'm bringing my wife home from work and I'm going to help as many people as it takes. So that was mine. That's my story. And that's still the same story. Like if I was doing that invite to Garrett right now, I tell the same story. So I want you guys to become masters at telling your story, and getting better at telling your story and making those emotional connections. But what I want you to think about right now, and remember this thing that I said, telling your story is the lost art. It's the lost art. Like, I don't care. I care about it because I want you guys to learn, but like, everybody wants all the time these diamond trainings. I need this and that. You need to learn how to tell your story and connect with somebody. That's where the magic is at. We'll always provide the training, and we'll do the Star Diamond trainings, but work on practicing telling your story with people. And you're going to be more confident that once you write out your purpose, like we talked about today. You're going to, if you don't have that purpose written out and you don't know what your role and purpose is as a coach, you're not going to go have that. You're not going to go have that conversation with somebody like I had with Garrett, or like I had with Eric and Dominique, or any one of my coaches. So you've got to know what your purpose is so that you go and do those things. So you build your list of people, and so that you connect with them and tell that story to them. But what I want you to think about, I want to tell you why telling your story is so important. How many of you guys, when I mentioned the pain I was in, or the feeling I felt when I couldn't pay my mortgage, how many of you guys immediately thought of some debt or some financial struggle that you currently have? Raise your hand. Boom, 100%, almost. 100% almost. And how many of you guys, when I mentioned bringing my wife home, thought about your spouse or something you could do to help your spouse? Okay. How many of you guys, when I mentioned taking every overtime shift, how many of you guys thought about a husband or yourself that does that as well to make a little extra money, or to travel more? Okay. All of these things are important. So the same thing goes with, if I talk about like when I retired my dad, and how it feels to have my dad home. How many of you guys think about your father? Right? So what's going to happen when you tell your story, your prospect, your friend immediately starts thinking about those things in their life. So that's the power of telling your story. And then you got to ask them about those things. Ask them what those things mean to them, and ask them the hard questions. You see how, I want to make sure as I close this out, can you see how I created a pain in Garrett a little bit? Did you expect to be working this much? Did you expect to be having your wife at work? That's creating a pain for him. But that pain, and that's what I did to him when I met with him for Alberto, for a lunch burrito, which was not on our diet. But I invited him. But that's what I did. I asked him those types of questions. And then I remember he had an objection, and I want to show you how important it is to ask those hard questions. He told me, I would really love to do it, but I don't have $150 for the challenge pack. So the question was, because we'd already built this rapport and had this connection, I asked him, dude, don't you think it's wrong that after 15 years of hard work and sending your wife to work, that if you really want to do something, like you say you want to do this, that you don't have $150? Isn't there something wrong with that? That you don't have $150 to do something you want with your life? And he said, yes. And then so that's the next question is, don't you think it's about time to change that? And look who's a coach now. Boom. So you got to ask the hard questions. And most people in life don't have that person. And that's what you get to do as somebody's mentor, is help them find what they need in life, find what's hurting them, and give them an answer. So I hope this helps you guys out. I know we're running late, and I got to beat a band in 15 minutes. It takes like 20 minutes to get over there. So I love you guys. I want us to become like the most powerful storytellers in the company, in the world. And I want you guys to think big. I'm looking at one guy on this video screen right now, and it makes me think about what this company does. Like Tony Robbins was mentored in a network marketing company by Jim Rohn. Like I see us as those people in the future, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So I want you guys to know that it's much bigger than just running a challenge group or coach training or coach sneak peek and all this stuff that we worry about that keeps us from working. So let's build our list, find our purpose, and connect with these people. I love you guys, and have an incredible week. And next week, we're not going to have a call because it's Christmas and you should be with your family. So I'll most likely put up a call recording that you can watch at some point during the day or during that Christmas weekend. Love you guys. See you later.